Here are the top 10 things that I wish I knew before starting a pest control company. Hey guys, my name is Jonas Olson, CEO and founder of Pest Badger. We went from 0 to 9-figure business with 14 locations in less than 5 years. And here are the top 10 things that I wish I would have known before starting a pest control company. So number one is a CRM. So there's a lot of things that you guys are missing out on, like having accurate data, having customer retention, which we'll get into later, and then having an easy way to track and invoice all your customers so you're not losing out on a bunch of money. Early on in business, I know you don't think that you can afford those things. You know, $100, $200 a month sounds like it's a lot of money, and I get it. I started out this way too, you know, on Google Sheets and just trying to navigate how to route all my customers, billing, things like that. And it got to a point where I just beat my head against the wall and I couldn't figure out how to schedule these people accurately. And then they would call in, they would want to reschedule service, and I would push them off the next day. And again, after work, I go find my Excel spreadsheet, try to move them around. One night I was online and I kind of had the same thought, like there's got to be something better out there. And now granted, CRM came out 20 years ago and I've been using a CRM for a long time, but again, going back to the very beginning, these are things I would do differently. So I still talk to people, even though it's been 20 years, that still don't use a CRM, that are still on Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, something like that. And it's not just scheduling, right? Scheduling's great functionality to it. So you can move people around, you're not missing any of your customers, you're billing all the customers. And that's another big thing right there. It's just billing your customers on time and fashionably, preferably the day of service, getting all credit cards on file. As a customer, you got to think of it like, hey, they haven't billed my card or they haven't charged my card in a while. And all of a sudden you're going to invoice them 2 quarters later and they're going to owe, let's just go with $300. And then they're upset because you haven't been billing them. So I've actually had people cancel in the past because I wasn't billing them on time and efficiently. And then also just like when it goes to marketing, right? You have all this data now that you can go back into resell those old jobs, right? Upsell them on the next thing. So marketing is a big play, CRM. Again, one marketing campaign will pay for the entire year of your pest control CRM. Early on in the business, you don't think about these things. You're in the truck, you're doing the work all day long, you're coming home at night and you start billing at night, you forget some things, and it's just hard, it's long days. So you're buying back your time as well. It's gonna cost you, said like $100, $200 a month, but still, it's very, very simple. You're going to do a lot of things with the CRM. You can't afford not to use CRM. Number 2 is Facebook groups and finding a tribe. Having the same type of business-minded people in the same Facebook group, learn from them. Again, early on, I didn't have a lot of these, but then they started to become popular. And as they got into them, they started to grow. You can learn a lot from what other operators are doing out there. I know a lot of you are probably in them, but if you're not, make sure to join some. There's some really good ones out there, a lot of great ones. And just learn from the people who are already doing it, who are already ahead of you. Number 3 is find yourself a mentor, someone who's been there and done it, that's built the company that you're trying to build. Reach out to them. A lot of these business owners, they love helping people and to give back. So if you reach out to them, the odds of them actually answering you be pretty high, me included. Get their email, contact them on Instagram, Facebook, DM them. So when I found my first mentors, I joined a CRM and they had a mentorship program. And then I got lucky and found one of the best mentors in the country. But they can just save you so much valuable time, money, and with just their experience. And I can think of like a few examples that I was having a really rough time trying to figure out a problem, banging my head up against the wall. You make one phone call, one text to that person, and they have it solved because they've been there and done it. They know the black holes of the business and how you can improve. They also typically know the KPIs where you should be, and then match your KPIs to their KPIs and just try to hit those goals. And if you find the right person, they're going to know a lot about the business. So they're going to know about marketing and sales and lead gen and hiring, recruiting, things like that. So they can teach you a lot, even if you have to pay them $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000, maybe even $5,000 a month. If you find the right person, it could change your business, your mindset, and everything, literally with one phone call. Number 4 would be marketing. If you're under $1 million in revenue, the only thing you guys should be doing besides servicing is getting your name out there. Make sure every single person in your neighborhood, in your city, knows who you are. You can have the best service in the world. And this is what my mentor told me. But if no one knows about you, it doesn't matter how great your service is. So it's not the best product that wins. It's the best known product that wins. And that's just a mindset shift that I had to take myself. And I'm going to make a bunch of different videos on all these concepts. But you're talking about wrapping your trucks from day one. Again, early on, it's not something that I did right out of the gate. It's literally a rolling billboard that everyone's going to see. Every customer is going to see of yours. You look professional. Lawn signs, another one, is having a sign up at the end of the curb for all your customers. So that way, again, people that are driving by, they can see that you've been there or that you service the property. And they might not trust you yet, and they might not know you yet, but if they know their neighbors, they're going to trust their neighbors and will ultimately trust you. So that's a big one. Door hangers too, something super simple. Just have your technicians or yourself just go do 9 rounds, which is 2 houses to the left, 2 houses to the right, and then 5 across the street, and just targeting every single one of your customers. So if you have 100 customers and you do 9 rounds and you get 1 customer for every time you put a door hanger out doing that 9 round, you can add an additional 100 customers. And it's just simple things like this that you got to do consistent. Number 5 would be selling one-time services versus recurring services. And early on, it's something I fell short on too. I was just selling one-time jobs, selling quarterlies. 95, maybe even 100% were all one-time services, whether that be spring, summer, and fall. We were gonna come out there, we'd have 1,000 people up on the front end getting all the summer sprays, and then 1,000 people on the back end getting the fall sprays. So that customer is only worth $250 per year. We put them on a reoccurring service where they're getting treated every quarter or monthly or bi-monthly, however you guys want to do it, and having that customer go from $250 of value per year to technically $1,000 per year, making your LTV, triple of what it was from year one. And I would say 99% of our services now are all on a quarterly program or bi-monthly, somewhere in there, depending on which location we're in. Again, that way you're not trying to get new customers all the time, constantly, right? Even though you still will be, but just having that customer who sticks too, which gets us into my next topic. Number 6 is churn. And a lot of people don't watch churn. And this is something that I learned probably too late, but I'm glad that I learned it because it's something that we weren't watching specifically. And what churn rate mean is like how many customers drop off per year, right? So if you have 100 customers and 20 of them drop off at the end of the year, you're gonna have a 20% retention or 80% churn, however you guys want to look at it. And just keeping that number as low as possible. Because if you have, I have friends who have 50% churn, so every single year they have to get 50% of their customers back every single year before they can even grow. 20% and below is where you want to be typically in most service-based industries. The lower the better, obviously. I've heard companies doing 3, 4, 5% depending on location. But if you're in a location that's like has people moving all the time, lots of door to door or whatever going on there, you might see the churn a little bit higher. There's a lot of ways that you can improve churn too, and a lot of it's in the onboarding process, making sure that you set the right expectations up front. Whether they're going to see bugs or not, or what the first service is going to look like, what it looks like after, and just following up with the customer, the day after service or a couple days after service, see how things are going, and certain touch points throughout the year that keep the customer engaged, making them sure that they're just really high value customers and you're taking really good care of them is step number 1. And obviously providing a great service, make sure your technicians are all doing a really good job, will help prevent churn. But again, you can't stop people from moving. You can't stop people from getting fired from their job. So there's things that you just can't do that are in the marketplace that you can't have control of. Just keep an eye on that number every single year and come up with ways to improve that number. Number 7 would be sales, which is probably one of my favorite topics to talk about. This is what I missed early on. You as the owner are probably always going to be the best sales guys because you're super convicted in yourself and in your product. And then just teaching others how to do that with you. Having a script for them to follow for every single CSR or salesperson to make it super easy and scalable is definitely something that I wish I would have learned early on. Probably a good process to follow up with your customers. Say 30% of your sales will happen on the follow-up. And then to also have a scripting up front for every single one of your CSRs, your technicians, or your sales guys to follow that makes it super easy and scalable. And also go take their close rate from maybe 30, 40% up to that 50, 60, 70% in pest control where it should be. Because it doesn't matter how many leads that your marketing agency gets you, if you can't close them, that's not their fault. Even though oh, I'm just getting crappy leads. But you have to go back and listen to your sales process, really get trainings in place so you guys can start scaling this company to where you guys want to go. Number 8, do not hire friends or family. I had to learn this the hard way too. I've had to fire family members. It's not fun. Even though mentors told me don't hire friends and family, I still did anyway. But I think as entrepreneurs, this is the first people we go to because we know them, we trust them, and think, hey, we're going to build this thing together. As we hire friends, we hire family members to come in, run your office, run your sales team, run your technician, the service side, but it never works out. Through time, a lot of conflicts, and then sometimes the business grows bigger than what they're willing to grow, and you eventually have to let these people go. Not all the time, but from personal experience, I would never go back and hire friends and family ever again because it hasn't worked out well for me. Number 9 would be know your market. Every market has a cap, so know the service that you're gonna run and then know the market that you're in. Again, I had to learn this the hard way. I see my friends growing faster than I was, and I couldn't figure out why because I felt like I was just as good or if not better than they were. And I kept asking what's wrong with me. And every time I talked to my mentor, he wouldn't specifically tell me this, but he would bring it up as an example. Like there's some really good operators out there that are just in the wrong market or selling the wrong service, that if you put that same person in a different market, they can do bigger things. And that's exactly what happened to me. My market was tiny. Like when I say tiny, it was like 14,000 people, and it was just maxed out, right? So I had to put myself, it was in a crazy situation, into a new city 2 hours away, and it gave me a whole opportunity with a couple 100,000 people to go shine, right? And so I put myself in a new market that had way more potential, and the business took off like a rocket. Number 10 is pay for performance, or P for P, however you want to call it, or commission-based pay. And this one is a big one for me because early on in my working career, I worked at a company, it was a union job, making really good money, but there's people that had been there longer, a lot longer, that were skilled, that made a lot more money than me, but I outworked them by 10, and it drove me nuts that they got paid more than I did. So my thing was like, I don't care if the person that started here, been here for a month or 2 years, whoever's the harder worker is gonna make the most money. So pay for performance does exactly this, and it kind of controls the cost of your labor. So that you guys don't have just guys driving around randomly, sitting in the clock, looking at their phones, watching YouTube in between jobs because they're not getting paid for it. But they're getting paid per job. So every time they go out and do a job, complete a job, and they service that job, they clock out, they're getting paid a percentage of that job. And if they mess up that job, they have to go back there and fix it on their own time. When we first started pay for performance, we did lose some employees, but those were the bad eggs anyway. What I also did is we kept our best technicians, and the incentives were better for them to perform better. So our customers got better customer service. Our technicians did a better job. Our technicians are making more money than ever. And ultimately it set the tone for Pest Badger to scale at a new level. So those are the top 10 things that I wish I knew before starting a pest control company. If you guys really like this and got a lot of value, we're gonna make a ton more content for you. We're gonna deep dive at each one of these topics. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe so we can help other operators just like you.